Hi, welcome to another program. This week we want to talk about the future of jihadist global terrorism in the world. Either you may like or not, or agree or disagree, but Taliban has a victory against the Western countries in Afghanistan, particularly against US. There's a remark we have to keep in mind. This is real. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything will be easy for now on for Taliban. On the contrary, we believe that things will be much more difficult for Afghanistan. While the jihadist groups have one enemy in Afghanistan before the defeat of US, it will now create obstacles for groups to operate after US defeat. That's also for sure. But we will see what will happen. And since we have the opportunity, we would like to, if you are the first time watching this video, please subscribe to our channel. You are much more welcomed to join our group. We are trying to increase our community, so it will be much more appreciated if you would like to join this community. So please feel free to subscribe. Without further delay, let's start again. US withdrawal from Afghanistan reduced its ability to gather intelligence activities, especially on terrorists coming from the country. From now on, US has primarily have to rely on drone surveillance with its own capabilities, while it has a human resource. It has no human resource at site to identify the target with assurance. Thus meaning it has to rely on other countries' intelligence, and now we are hearing that US generals are offering to US or White House to cooperate with Russians, especially with their bases in Tajikistan, where the US might accommodate some resources over there in order to track those human activities or terrorist activities in the region. But then I have to admit that it will create an operational security due to the local means reasons, and might raise significant human right concerns, because we are also aware that Russians do not care about these kind of things, and once US will be there operating with Russians or any other countries, it might create some kind of liabilities to US. When it comes to jihadist groups, it will be hard to unite them under single, I will say, threat after defeating US in Afghanistan. It's almost with certainty that Taliban will either recruit them, these terrorists, I will say, under a legit army formation, or will utilize them in the world, such as Somalia, Yemen, Sahel, via its links with Al-Qaeda. It is known that Al-Qaeda supports Taliban financially and for also recruitment activities, but ISIS is a different jihadist group. We know that ISIS is a known adversary and ideological competitor to both Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The main difference between ISIS and Taliban and Al-Qaeda is that, and we should also remember that ISIS is formed by the terrorist who has been expelled from Taliban. ISIS believes that the caliphate should be again restored. Taliban doesn't insist on, although they are in favor of it, but they don't follow this as the first order. And this is where their ideology differs from each other at first. But at the bottom line, they are all the same, I believe also too. So ISIS is very active in Iraq and Syria at this moment. It doesn't mean that they are totally terminated, but they are active. But not effective. However, any manpower flow from Afghanistan will end up with ISIS, that's for sure. If these groups are not going to be recruited or not going to be channeled in the right way by Talibans, they are most likely ended up with ISIS, especially if Taliban fails with its Emirate project. Then these new recruits or all ex-recruits will flow to directly to ISIS, and that might encourage ISIS to try its Emirate project also within Syria and Iraq too in future. So global powers have lost their influence in Afghanistan. That's almost sure. So it might give a safe haven for jihadist groups to operate and recruit, train the new militias, prior to deploying them elsewhere in the world in Afghanistan. And Taliban will encourage also its supporters to increase their financial assistance to jihadist groups. Meanwhile, Taliban will likely to ensure that its force will not dissolve, but will gather under Afghanistan military and or security force umbrella, but that remains to be seen. US has left a big problem while drawing. The war against the terrorism was vital for US, but not national security. And US has a much more bigger concern, and it's called China. So while the US and its allies concentrate on all efforts in Asia against China, it will lose its ability to stop terror activities coming from Middle East, Sahel, and Horn of Africa mainly. It's inevitable for Taliban or Al-Qaeda. Even I think in future we will hear more about ISIS, its footholds in those areas in future, while US is too busy with China. So it will bring more liabilities and responsibilities for neighboring countries within the Middle East and Central Asia to stop those threats becoming real in the life in future. So if you like this video, there's a like button underneath the screen. Please feel to press on it, and also subscribe yourself if you haven't done so far. We would like to increase our community, and with your help and effort we can do that. Have a nice day and see you next time. Bye.